Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are going to be recapping NFL Week 3. It's been a while since I've last uploaded. It's because I'm at the beach. I wasn't just slacking. But let's get started. We've got a lot to go through. A lot of upsets in Week 3 and a lot of surprise teams that we did not think would be as good as they are right now. Start off, we've got the Giants versus the 49ers. If we take a look at the stats here, well, the 49ers won 30-12 over the Giants, making them 3-0, one of the only 3-0 teams left. Brock Purdy had an incredible game, 310 yards and 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones, not so good himself, 137 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. Nothing going on the run game for them. Christian McCaffrey had a solid game. And yeah, they just dominated in every part of the game. 49ers are looking good, definitely have a chance at least making the Super Bowl. Maybe even winning it. You never know. There is a good chance that they could do that. But next up, we're going to have Falcons versus the Lions. And this was going to be a close game. We did not know who was going to win this one because now they're both 2-1. The Lions were 1-1 before and the Falcons were 2-0 before. So, I guess the Falcons were kind of favored in this game. As we look here, Desmond had a solid game, but no touchdown, so that would hurt him a little bit. But then for Jared Goff, he had a great game, actually. Besides the pick, it was a perfect game and a touchdown. Rushing yards, Bijan had an off game. He's playing incredible to start off the year, but this game was not his game. I don't know. I think he's still a great running back, but he had an off game. Everyone has those. Jahmyr Gibbs, another rookie. They're playing incredible. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 9 receptions, 102 yards, and Pitt played decent as well. But yeah, that's it for Falcons Lions. And next up, Chargers Vikings, a very good game. I was really excited for this game, and it definitely lived up to the hype. Both of these teams were actually, they have not won a game yet. They were both 0-2. And these were two of my favorites to make it on a run, at least in the playoffs. So I'm surprised what happened here. But look at Justin Herbert's stats. This is some insane stats right here. 40 for 47. That's like 90% completion percentage. 405 yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible game. Kirk didn't have a bad game himself. 32 of 50. 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Running game, Joshua Kelly did not have a good game. 11 carries for 12 yards. That is not good. Madison had a solid game. Jefferson played incredible as he always does. 7 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown. And Keenan Allen, no touchdowns, but look at this. 18 receptions for 215 yards. You are lucky if you had him on your fantasy team. But next up, we have Saints-Packers. This was a great game. Saints were up 17-0. I don't know what happened. As you can see here in the third quarter, end of the third quarter, they were still up 17-0, and then they got 18 unanswers, the Packers did. And that was really impressive by Jordan Love. Derek Carr, 13 of 18 for 103 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Love, though, 50% completion percentage exactly, 259 yards, touchdown, an interception. He didn't do bad in the run game either, 9 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown. Romeo Doubs played amazing, and Chris Olave played really well too, but at the end of the day, Packers won, and I had the Saints defense on my fantasy team, and they had 24 points for me when they were up 17-0. It dropped down to like 12 or something, but I still won my game, so whatever. But next up we have Texans-Jaguars, an upset here. Texans dominated 37-17. They started off 17-0. They got outscored in the third, and then they just finished it off in the fourth. And wow, look at this. C.J. Stroud, the rookie, 20 for 30, 280 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Trevor didn't have a terrible game, but the interception did cost him a little bit. Devin Singletary did solid. Etienne did solid as well. Tank Dell, look at this stat line. 5 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Evan Ingram did solid. Those are solid stats for a tight end. But wow, really impressive from the Texans here. And next up, we have the game that no one expected, and this was insane. Dolphins are 3-0, and they look incredible. This, if you didn't know, the second game in the Super Bowl era where a singular team, has scored 70 points. And the first one was actually the first NFL season where there was a Super Bowl. So this is crazy here. But look at these stats. Russell Wilson did not have a horrible game. 306 yards, a touchdown, and interception is not horrible. But look at this. 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. Running game is where it gets legit, though. So Javonte Williams did solid for the Broncos, but definitely not good enough when you're against De'Von Achane, who had 18 carries, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But then I want to go back to rushing here. Okay, Dolphins. Rushing. Not only De'Von Achane, 18 carries, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert, 13 carries, 82 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's the big thing. And then also Chris Brooks, 9 carries, 66 yards. It was crazy. So running backs had 5 yards. And then Tyreek Hill had a touchdown. Chosen Anderson had a touchdown. Raheem Mostert had a touchdown. Braxton Berrios didn't get a touchdown, but he did a solid game. Oh, look at Tyreek's stats here. 9 receptions, 157 yards. That is why he might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. And then also in receiving, not only did De'Von Achane get 2 touchdowns rushing, he got 2 more receiving. So just one of the best games I've ever seen offensively from any team in my lifetime. And I've had a short life, but it goes way back. I've never seen a team score 70 points in the NFL. I've seen it happen in college quite a few times. But next game, the Browns 27-3 over the Titans. And yeah, the Steelers just beat the Browns. Honestly, I don't know how. We are looking horrible. Actually, last night we didn't do terrible. But before that game, we were looking really bad. Ryan Tannehill didn't get any touchdowns, 104 yards passing. Deshaun Watson, 289 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is solid. They didn't have much in the run game, but it was all right. Derrick Henry really struggled, 11 carries for 20 yards. Amari Cooper, 7 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown, which is really good. D-Hop, 3 receptions for 48 yards, which is solid. If he could have got a touchdown there, it would have been a different game maybe. But yeah, 27-3 is just insane. I was not impressed with the Titans. And I thought since they got D-Hop, it might change the season a little bit and maybe they'll have a shot at the playoffs. After that game, I think their season is going to be a bust. And another team that got destroyed, the 2-0 Commanders. They were 2-0. The Bills were 1-1. And the Commanders got absolutely destroyed here. Bills won 37-3. And if we look at the stats here, we can see pretty much why right here, right after this 170 yards, 4 interceptions, and no touchdowns. That is unacceptable from Sam Howell. Could he get benched? I'm not sure who their backup is. Maybe I can look here. Player stats. Commanders passing. Doesn't show a backup. So, oh my goodness. So that's actually insane. 4 interceptions and no touchdowns and only 170 yards. So that is not good. Josh Allen did have a great game though. Besides the interception, it was a very solid game for him. James Cook, 15 carries, 98 yards. Brian Robinson did average 7 yards a carry, so it wasn't his fault. And Curtis Samuel did well. Stephon Diggs played incredible. But wow, this was sad from the Commanders. Also, next up we got Colts Ravens, who this might be the game of the day yesterday. We had quite a few good games yesterday. But this might be my favorite because it was a close game the whole time. As we can see, Ravens went up 7-0. Then in the second quarter, the Colts went up by 3. Then third quarter, the Ravens would have went up by 1 there, I believe. And then 6 points, and they scored 5 points. That's because of a safety at the very end. And then in overtime, they tied 19-19. Ravens came up empty. No, Colts came up empty. Then the Ravens came up empty. Then the Colts got the ball back. A long field goal, and it went right through, and that would win the game for the Colts, which actually makes the Steelers the #1 team in the AFC North. And I have no idea why, no idea how, because, man, we started off the year terrible. Last night was really impressive. We'll get to that game in a little bit, though. Gardner Minshew played solid. He got over 50% completion percentage, 227 yards and a touchdown, not bad. Lamar played okay, 202 yards. He's my fantasy quarterback. He got me like 21 points, which I'll take every time. No touchdowns though, so that's. But what he did do is in the run game. So not only did he have those amazing yards there, well, not amazing, okay yards in passing. In the run game, 14 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, which led his team in rushing, which is insane. And Zach Moss, look at this. Decent stats here for him. 30 carries, 122 yards. Michael Pittman had a little good game. Zay Flowers played solid as well. This was a great game, probably the game of the day, but we've got some more good ones to get to. We got Patriots and Jets here. 15-10, the Patriots won it. Look at this. They went up 3-0. The Patriots did in the first quarter, and they outscored them in the second quarter. Then 3 more in the third quarter, and they got 2 points in the fourth quarter, probably because of a safety, and that would be enough for them to win. And yeah, if we look at this, Mac Jones, 15-29, 201 yards and a touchdown. Zach Wilson had himself a little bit of a rough game. Completion percentage is not very good. He did not throw any interceptions, though, which is a positive. But yeah, after Aaron Rodgers went out, it's been rough for the Jets. I'm not very impressed so far. And they went from being a playoff team who could make a little bit of a run in the playoffs to now being one of the worst teams in the NFL. And I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs now. Dalvin Cook isn't even playing as well, even though he has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. Ezekiel Elliott played great. Pharaoh Brown, 2 receptions, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Garrett Wilson played a pretty good game, but it was not enough for the Jets. The Patriots won by 5. Seahawks took on the Panthers at 4:25. Stayed the same 3-3 after the first. They outscored them 10-9. The Panthers did in the second quarter. Third quarter, 10-0. That was very impressive by the Seattle Seahawks. That pretty much ended it. And then, yeah, they just went on to win by 10. Pretty easy win by them. Geno played great. 296 yards, a touchdown. An interception, though. That's the problem. But they still won nonetheless. And Andy Dalton actually played better than him. 361 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw almost 60 passes, which is pretty insane. That's like double Geno Smith's. Miles Sanders didn't have a great game, but he did get the touchdown, which was huge. Kenneth Walker had himself an amazing game. 18 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK, 6 receptions, 112 yards, great. Thielen did even better than him. 11 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Very impressive game from the Seahawks, I believe. And they cruised to victory over the Panthers. Now we have a game I did not expect it to be this much of a blowout. I know the Bears stink. They always have stunk, I guess that's what you would say. But this was brutal because at halftime, it was 34-0. So it's not like they just piled it on at the end. They were just doing it over and over again. 7-0 after the end of the first quarter. They outscored them 27-0 in the second quarter. Third quarter, 7. They didn't score anything in the fourth. That's because Patrick Mahomes was benched. And yeah, this should have been a shutout, but since all their starters were benched in the fourth quarter, it did not matter. But the Bears did put up 10 points somehow. But look at these stats. Patrick Mahomes had himself a great game. 3 touchdowns, 272 yards. Pacheco, 15 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Fields didn't even hit 100 yards and threw an interception. He didn't get the touchdown, though. He did do good on the run. 11 carries, 47 yards, but that led his team. That is never good when the quarterback leads your team in rushing. 3 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown for DJ Moore. He had a solid game. Travis Kelce, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, had 7 receptions, 69 yards, and a touchdown. And next up, we have another upset here. 28-16, Arizona Cardinals took down the Cowboys and ended their undefeated start to the year. Let's just look at this. 9-3 in the first quarter, 12-7. They outscored them every quarter except for the third quarter, where the Cowboys outscored them by 3, and that didn't really matter because the Cardinals played great. Joshua Dobbs, the former Steelers backup, only threw 4 incompletions, 189 yards, and a touchdown. Dak had himself a decent game. He did get that interception, which pretty much ended the game. 249 yards, a touchdown, and Tony Pollard did really well, actually. 23 carries, 122 yards. James Conner had a similar game to him, 14 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. Michael Gallup had some great receptions, and Wilson got 2 big receptions, averaged 43 a catch. And now we have another great game. I'm a Steelers fan, as you can see from this jersey. And this game, everything just felt different. Kenny played so much better than normal. Our running backs, we could actually do something. Our offensive line looked decent. We were opening up holes in the run game. And Kenny didn't throw a single pick. I don't know what was happening, but he played great. 16-28, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. Najee didn't do the best, but what you need to understand is we only had 90 yards coming into this game in 2 games. So that's only 45 rushing yards a game. So for Najee to get 65, and then Jaylen Warren also got some more yards, as well as Kenny taking off a few times himself. We over doubled. We more than doubled our season rushing total. So it was a great game for us in that category. Josh Jacobs, he played better than he did last week. He's still struggling, but that was better. George Pickens, my favorite player on the team and in the entire league, 4 receptions, 75 yards. And Davante Adams, he was our only weak spot on the defense, really. We just left him open. I don't understand why we can't run after him. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and we just left him open over and over again. And we need to clean that up a little bit, especially when we're going against amazing wide receivers like Davante Adams. We need to double team him and take him down. But that's it for now. Tonight, though, 8:15, we've got Eagles Buccaneers at 7:15. Rams Bengals, a replay of the Super Bowl. 2 years ago Super Bowl. 8:15. Doubleheader Monday night. Be sure to be watching those games. I sure will be. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm back.